Of course. Good morning and namaste. Welcome back to the Asana Sana Yoga Studio. And we are here for our AM Hatha class, which is just like our PM Hatha class, except instead of releasing the tension and the stress for the day, what we're doing here is we're opening up our body, waking up our senses, getting our physicality ready so we can take on the day and take on the rest of the weekend. So, as always, let's find ourselves seated on the mat. Here, I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit. Find ourselves seated here on the mat, spreading the flesh of your sits bones to the side to get that nice cradle for our tailbone here. And let's just take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Really ground ourselves here in this moment. It can be a little early. I mean, here where I'm at on the Pacific Coast, it is 8 a.m., which is a little early on a Saturday for some people. And then across the country, back in the East Coast where I'm from, it is, let me see, what is it, 11 a.m. there. So good morning to everyone. Let's start this wonderful Saturday morning by setting some intentions. As always, I will share with you my intentions for class. I intend to lead you into an invigorating morning flow, waking up the body and getting you prepared for the rest of your day. So let's just close our eyes for a moment here, keeping our natural breath. Let's just set some intentions for class, or even your day. Excellent. Let's wrap up our intentions, bringing our hands in front of our face. Let's clap 3 times, rubbing the hands together. Let's gently wash our face, sending our hands up to the sky. Inhaling, exhaling, bringing the hands down to the knees. So now we can get started on our warm-up. Let's just start by slowly rolling the head, starting with yeses and nos, maybe rolling around in a circle, opposite directions. You can just gently start with a no. Going slowly and fluidly here. You don't want to tweak the neck. Seeing if you can get a little bit further with each extension. Excellent. Slow ourselves down here, coming back into center. Let's inhale, starting with our yeses. Slowly opening up the neck with each exhale. Slow ourselves down here into center and start to inhale, looking down, coming up. Exhaling as we look up over to the left. Use your eyes too. Let your eyes lead your head around. We get a little workout with our eyes. Let's slow ourselves down to center here. Coming back to center, let's rotate the opposite direction using our eyes to lead our head. And make sure you're going slowly. You can move our eyes a little bit faster. Go slow. Slow ourselves down to center here. Let's inhale those arms up. Exhale, we're going to drop our right ear to our right shoulder using the right arm, our right hand here as a weight, dropping our arm to left, our left arm at 45 degrees here. Just releasing into that extension. Excellent. Let's bring the head up to center. Let's turn facing the right. Exhale, dropping the chin to the chest, using the right palm there as a stretch too. Let's inhale, coming back up to center. Switching the arms, let's drop the ear to the left shoulder this time, the left ear, using the left hand, dropping the right down to 45 degrees. Let's inhale, bringing our head up to center, turning, facing the left this time, dropping the left chin to the chest, using the left hand as counterweight there. Like that last inhale, and as we exhale, let's release the arms, bringing the hands either to the lap or to your mat. Let's just start rolling the shoulders up and back, keeping with natural rhythm of our breath, slowly opening up our bodies. A little bit of a tongue twister there, breath to slowly. Let's slow ourselves down, coming the opposite direction here with our shoulder rolls. Excellent. Slowing ourselves down to center. Let's inhale, sending the arms out to a T. Exhale, let's send the right arm over, up and over the back here as we drop the hand down the back here. Let's go ahead and use our elbow and extend that over here, stretching out that tricep. Breathe into the pose, letting your arms extend a little bit, opening up just a bit more with each exhale. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Let's exhale, dropping the hands. This time, let's send the right arm around the back, using the left hand to grab the right wrist. Let's drop the left ear to the left shoulder, releasing that left shoulder down. Exhaling, coming into this side stretch here. Holding for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's release the arms, coming back out to a T. Let's send that right arm along the front here, grabbing it, kind of hugging ourselves with our left. Let's turn our face to the right, twisting, extending the arm. To that last exhale, let's release our arms, inhaling them overhead, this time dropping the left arm behind the back, using the right palm to help stretch out that tricep. After our last exhale, let's release the arm, sending it along the back here, grabbing it with our wrist, pulling it gently, dropping that ear, the right ear this time to the right shoulder, pulling that shoulder down. Of course, I'm having a little issue with my microphone, but the idea, I'm just going to drop the shoulder down, stretching out. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. My goodness, I'm having a hard time waking up this morning. Let's inhale, bring your arms out to a T. Exhaling, sending the left arm in front this time, facing the left, using that right arm to hug your arm into your body. Take one last breath in this pose. And after our exhale, let's release the arms. You can send the arms down to the side of the mat, the hands right next to you here. We're just going to inhale, slowly opening up the chest, bringing the chest open, arching the back, coming into our seated cow, releasing the muscles here also of your belly, letting that fill with air as you send your head back. Let's exhale, scooping the belly, scooping the chest, sending the belly button to the spine, coming into cat. And let's continue this flow for 5 breaths, slowly opening up our spine, waking up the rest of the body. Be gentle, 2 more breaths. Last breath, releasing. Let's bring our hands to our knees, Starting from this curved cat position, let's just start to inhale, twisting ourselves to the right. Inhale as we come forward. Once we hit that meridian, coming to the left, exhaling, scooping the belly, coming to the back here. Let's do this 5 more breaths to the right. You don't have to go as much as me. We're just trying to open up those bodies here. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down once we come to middle. Pausing for just a second. Let's begin to exhale as we send ourselves to the left this time. Inhaling, coming to the left. Exhaling back to the right. 5 breaths. Finding ourselves in center. Let's come here, seating upright. Let's inhale those hands up to the air. Turn to the right, whole body exhaling, dropping here, coming into a side twist. And with each exhale, see if you can come a little bit further into a side twisting here. Holding here for 5 breaths. Make sure you keep that hip and that other knee, the left hip and the left knee onto the mat here by releasing the tension, unclenching the glutes. Excellent. Inhale, bringing the hands up. Exhale as we turn our whole body, head included, to the left this time, dropping our hands as we exhale, twisting to the left, unclenching the bottom, relaxing as we open up a little more. 5 breaths. And with our last exhale, let's release our hold. Inhaling, bringing our hands up into the air. Let's exhale by allowing our right arm into our lap, dropping the left over, facing up. That's it within your practice. Coming to a seated side stretch here. Let's breathe and holding this out for 5 breaths. And let yourself sink ever so slightly with each exhale. Making sure to keep that left hip and knee onto the mat. Inhale, switching the arms as we left into our left, right overhead, exhaling. Seated side bend. Inhale, bringing the hands here to a T. Exhale, dropping them down on the mat. Let's meet at the top of the mat for our Surya Namaskars, our sun salutations, before we move into our flow. So find as easy a way as you can to get up to the mat. Remember, it's early morning. Let's be gentle. Gentle, gentle. Let's talk about alignment for a quick second here. If you've been coming to my classes regularly, you already know that I like to go over alignment almost every class. From here, let's just keep the feet hip width apart. You can do that by either using your hands to check right on your hips here, or you can even use your fist, just eyeballing that your feet are on the other side of your fist. Also very important to keep your feet at the same, like you don't want one out more out than the other. We want them to be around the same meridian. Thankfully, with yoga mats, there's usually some sort of grid pattern on there. You can align your feet. Lift your toes up, leaning forward just slightly until you feel like you're going to bend. Relax yourself back until you find yourself settling perfectly balanced. That is where we need to keep our weight over our heels. Dropping the toes. So you want to keep your weight on the heels. Dropping the toes. Let's move up to our knees. Keep the knees unlocked, parallel to each other, nice and supple and loose. You don't want to lock the knees all the way out, keeping that loose. Tuck the bum in just a bit so we can fix our pelvic tilt here. Remember, your pelvis is a bowl. You don't want it to spill. Let's roll the shoulders up and back, which sends our ribs out, keeping the rib flares in. Let's tighten the ribs by sending our rib points over directly over our hip points, keeping the shoulders back. Let's slide our head back so that our ears are parallel over our shoulders, and then keep our head parallel to the floor. So here's our alignment. This is where we want to go. If you're not quite sure what to do, standing right here in mountain pose, breathing is a good start. So let's inhale, sending the hands up into the air. Exhale, gently allow your body to fold over, bending your knees if you need to. Let's go ahead for a moment. Let's grab those elbows and just swing the hips ever so slightly. We are opening up the body. We're warming up. For many of us, this is the first movement pattern we had today, other than walking to make some coffee or maybe use the restroom. So let's just be gentle and kind to our body in this early morning hour. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down to stillness here. Taking an inhale, let's place our hands on the mat. Exhale by gingerly walking back, coming into a plank. You can either low plank with your knees down, or you can plank all the way up. Let's exhale ourselves down to the mat here. Inhale, coming up into our cobra pose, keeping the legs on the mat. You can even fully extend out to a seal if that works for you. Let's curl those toes, and as we curl, exhale, sending our hips up into the sky, keeping the knees bent. Let's come into a walking downward dog. Pushing the mat with our palms, keeping our fingers spread. Let's really focus and concentrate on dropping our chest to the mat, sending our belly to our thighs. We don't want to arch over just kind of this triangle type pose. We want to really come into that pose where we're extending our hips up to the sky in that proper alignment. So you can relax your head. You should be able to move your head around and really get that opening feeling in your shoulders. It also helps to keep your shoulders down from your ears as well. I know we're working with gravity, but pushing the shoulders into the floor helps to keep them down from your ear. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down here in this walking downward dog. Let's inhale, sending the right foot up into the air. Exhale, gently place it in between the hands. Drop that lower knee. We're just going to inhale, coming up into our crescent pose. Exhale, as we settle in our pose here. Let's inhale, cartwheeling the arms back down to the mat. Curl that back foot. Let's exhale, coming into a full plank if in your practice, having the foot come to the right. Coming down here, let's inhale into our cobra or our seal pose. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending the hips back on the mat, keeping the knees bent. Walking out just a little bit here. Let's slow it down. Inhale, sending that left leg this time up into the air. Exhale, placing it between the hands, dropping the knee, coming up into a low crescent lunge. And then exhale. Inhale, bringing the hands down to the mat, curling those toes. This is our third plank, so try to come up in a plank here. Exhale, come down. Inhale, see if you can make it up to a downward dog. Let's exhale. Exhale those toes curled as we send our hips into the sky. Oh my goodness, this morning is not the morning for me. Let's walk our feet to match our hands here at the top of the mat. Inhale, come halfway. Exhale down. Let's inhale, stretching the body all the way up. Exhaling, coming into prayer pose. Excellent. Very good for our first one. Let's go into our second one, opening up that body. Inhale those hands up. Let's exhale, coming forward, fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, place the hands down on the mat, taking a step back into our full plank. Exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending that body up into the sky. Let's inhale that right foot up into the sky, dropping the feet. Instead of dropping the left foot, let's turn the left foot. Inhaling, coming up into our warrior two pose. Whew. Just jump into warrior two, because why not? We are in the present. We have the future in front of us, the past behind us. Let's cartwheel those hands, straightening the legs, turning the foot, coming into our plank. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, come on up. Curl your toes as you exhale, coming into that downward dog. Send the left foot up this time. Placing the foot on the mat, turning that right foot. It's Peter Townsend, our way up. And if you don't know who that is, Google him. Peter Townsend, our way up into that warrior two. Focusing on the present. Let's inhale those hands, cartwheeling down to the mat, turning the foot, stepping back, coming down. Inhale, coming up, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Let's inhale by hopping or bringing our foot to the top of the mat here. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, coming up. Excellent. Let's start our flow today. Coming in here in a wide leg. If you have blocks or you like to use a prop or a chair, please go ahead and grab them. We're going to come into our first pose here by extending our feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to come into our wide forward fold here. Before we do that, let's revisit the intentions we started at the beginning of the class. So everybody inhale, hands coming into prayer in front of us. for a moment, let's think of the one intention that we want to do for this weekend. My intention for this weekend is to have a weekend where I can do a little bit of planning ahead for certain events in my life. So I want to intend on being focused and being grounded and disciplined enough to get all of my work done so that I can have a really fun weekend with my family. So let's think about our original intention here. Let's inhale that energy, sending it out to the sky. Let's send out the energy of positivity to everyone in this class who's sending intentions. Just, I want your intentions to go beautifully, just as mine. So let's affirm that. All of our intentions are going to go off exactly as we planned. Let's take an inhale. And as we exhale, let's start to bend forward, sending our hands behind us, clasping them, coming into a bound, wide forward fold. And let's inhale here, meditating for just a moment. If you can shut your eyes, please go ahead. Also, if this is not in your practice, please go ahead and support yourself on your blocks. But let's hold here, focusing on those beautiful affirmations. I send the power for everyone to set their intentions and fulfill them throughout the world. Let's just hold that energy here. 3 more breaths. Excellent. Let's take one last breath as we exhale, dropping the hands. Let's turn our foot to the right, our front foot to the right, and our back feet to the right. Coming into this pyramid pose, let's inhale our hands up, stepping back, exhaling, coming into a crescent pose. And for here, let's really just kind of relax back, dropping the head, really allowing the spine to open, using the heart to send out all of our, just glancing, seeing what we have next, all of our intentions and energy to the world, building our confidence, spreading our love for ourselves and for other people. Keep holding here with 3 more breaths. Let's take that last exhale. As we exhale, let's straighten ourselves up a bit, turning the left foot. Let's drop once more into our warrior 2. As I remarked earlier during our sun sals, our Surya Namaskars, Surya Namaskar, just one, I was talking about being in the present. This warrior pose here, we have 3 more breaths. This warrior pose has our front hand in the future, our back hand in the past, and we have this here ourselves in the present. And sometimes we can get a little bogged down in the details, but it's okay. Keep it focused on the present. Hold here for 1 more breath. And as we exhale, let's go ahead, taking those hands. Let's turn our body to the front here. Bringing the hands up. We're going to twist ourselves forward and exhale, coming forward here into the form of a humble warrior. I like this pose as it says, I bow to the powerful energy of the universe, knowing that I can control myself, yet I invite the energy of the universe in, knowing that I can stand strong with anything that comes towards me. Excellent. Keep holding here. 4 more breaths. You want to keep our backs nice and flat in this pose, just like a flat back from before. It's a little bit of a challenging pose, keeping the arms up. If this is not within your practice, go ahead and lean forward on your blocks. That way we can keep our hips square to the mat, coming into this wonderful pose. 2 more breaths. Excellent. Inhale, bringing ourselves back up to the sky. Let's exhale as we turn our left foot to face forward, shortening the stance, straightening the leg. Take 1 more inhale, arching back ever so slightly. Exhale, coming forward, holding in that pyramid pose, head to knee. And it's all right to keep that front knee bent. You definitely don't want to lock out. But let's just hold here, keeping our hips square to the mat by imagining there's a marble at the top points of our thighs here. Hold here for 4 more breaths. After our last exhale, let's inhale that foot, left foot this time, up and just gently up, taking a step back here. As we exhale, let's turn our body to face the front, almost in an extended side angle pose, or coming into an extended side angle pose. If you'd like to advance your pose up to a half moon, inhale, sending that left foot up to the sky using a block if it is within your practice, and go ahead and enter in your half moon here as we're entering our waning half moon for this month. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. If you'd like to further advance your practice, just bend that left leg back, sending the hand, grabbing it here, coming into a sugar cane. If you'd like to grab from the back, you can as well. I like to grab from the front. We have 3 more breaths in this pose. Make sure you keep that right foot grounded, keeping the hips open, turning your face up to the sky if it's within your practice, keeping that left leg parallel. 2 more breaths. And with our last exhale, let's exhale, gently bending the front knee, dropping the foot. Let's send our arms up, coming out into this 5-pointed star. Exhale, holding ourselves here in goddess pose. And I'd like to go ahead and make a modification if you'd like, because we've been holding our arms up a lot today. If you want to go ahead and bring your arms to this goddess pose. Holding ourselves, keeping the arms up if you'd like, even coming into a goddess pose like this. Let's hold here for 4 breaths. Moving the hips a little bit. Keeping your pelvis tucked. 2 more breaths. After our last breath, if your hands aren't already on your knees, place your hands on your knees. Let's go ahead and send the feet forward, we're going to come into the goddess arms, and we're going to do some goddess twists here. Send the feet slightly forward here, keeping our knees tracking the same direction. Let's inhale, dropping the left shoulder as we turn our face, coming up to the sky. Exhale. Let's hold here for 3 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's inhale ourselves back into center here. Exhale, dropping the right shoulder, coming in for 3 breaths. Move around if you'd like to. It's very nice to move to the music. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves to the center here with an exhale. Let's straighten up those hips. Let's turn ourselves facing the left. Taking a step back as we inhale those arms up, we're going to come into our crescent lunge again, this time on the left side. Sink into that pose. See how open you feel in your hips now with this one. Keeping that back leg straight. See if you can dip just a little lower this time. Keep holding here for 4 more breaths. Let's take that last inhale. And with an exhale, let's turn our right foot out to face the front, realigning the arms, coming into our warrior 2 pose. Focusing on keeping our balance, keeping our strength, keeping our future pleasant and our past truthful. Keep holding here for 5 more breaths. And after our last exhale, let's inhale, straightening that front leg, bringing that right foot to face left, shortening the stance if necessary. Inhale those hands up into the air. Exhale, coming down into our pyramid pose. And remember, it's totally fine to bend the front knee. Let's keep those hips nice and square to the mat. Pulling the front hip, the left hip back, pushing the right hip forward will help as well. Breathing here for 5 breaths. Excellent. Find your balance. If you're using a block, go ahead and use your block. I'm going to use mine as well. Let's find our left hand in front of our left foot, either on a block or on your mat. Let's inhale, straightening that left foot, reaching forward, coming to the tiptoes here. Exhaling as we turn ourselves to face front, raising our leg up into a half moon pose. And if you did see if half moon is not for you, please modify by keeping that back leg down. Absolutely. This is your practice. Everybody's body is different. Some days I can do this, some days I can't. This might be one of those days I'm struggling, but it's all right. That's the point of yoga. You fall out of an asana, you get right back in. Fully extending into our morning pose here. Let's make sure we don't keep that grounded left leg locked. Our right leg up into the sky, breathing into this pose. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And again, you can advance to sugarcane if that is within your practice today. 3 more breaths. And after that last third breath, exhale, let's release our leg down, coming back into that 5-pointed star. Let's hold here for a moment, breathing into this 5-pointed star. 5 breaths. And we move the hips around to your music or to the music that I'm playing in class. Roll your shoulders. Open up that body. 3 more breaths. So last inhale, exhale, let's inhale those hands up, bringing your hands into our prayer pose, arching the back, sending the legs forward here. Exhale, let's come once more into our wide leg forward fold. Again, if you need a block, go ahead and use a block in front of you. We're going to do some forward fold twists. So I would like for you to inhale, bringing your left hand, placing it directly under your face or onto the top of your block, whatever in your practice. Let's exhale, turning our body to the right, extending that right arm into the sky, bending the knees if necessary, or widening your stance. Let's hold this pose here, this invigorating pose, sending our power, then connecting directly to source. 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, take one last inhale, arching over just a little bit. As you exhale, rotating, bringing our body back down to the mat. Now both hands are on the mat here. Let's rest here for a gentle moment, dropping the head, letting the head rest, checking to make sure our knees are unlocked, seeing that our feet are both facing forward. Let's take our right hand, placing it directly underneath our face in the middle of our stance. Let's inhale as we slowly turn our left body to the left, our body, coming into that wide leg twist. Breathing, connecting the source with the left hand. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's inhale once more as we bend a little bit to the back, exhaling, sending our left hand down to the mat. Let's heel toe those feet in a little bit closer. Let's take an inhale as we kind of sort of bend a little forward, keeping the toes pointed out. Let's exhale, dropping the hips, coming into Malasana. If you'd like, you can go ahead and sit on a block if that is within your practice. If not, you can push that aside and keep it going. But let's hold here 5 breaths. Make sure you keep your chest upright, tucking your pelvis. Remember that. We're going to tuck the booty just a little bit, keeping ourselves nice and open here. 4 more breaths. After our last exhale, let's drop our hands to our mat, bringing ourselves down, coming into Virasana. Coming in down into our Virasana here. Let's roll ourselves also down once more, extending one leg out in front of us, our left leg, sitting on our bottoms, keeping our right legs behind us. We're just going to come into saddle pose here. Inhale, exhale, coming into that half saddle. Let's send those arms up overhead, bending forward just as much as you can. Don't hurt yourself bending from the hips. Let's grab onto that ankle, coming to extended half saddle pose here. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Remember to pull back your left hip, sending your right hip forward, keeping yourself square. 4 more breaths. And after our last exhale, let's inhale those arms up, placing them right next to us here by our bottoms. Let's switch our legs around. Extend the right leg gently, allowing to help it out there. Gently bob the legs up and down. Let's exhale, sending the left leg to the side here, coming into our saddle pose. Getting settled, getting ourselves in. Let's inhale those hands up. Exhale, reaching over, grabbing the foot, coming in, or the ankle, coming into half saddle pose. Remember to hunch your shoulders. Keep your chest broad and open, bending from the waist. 4 more breaths. Take that last exhale. Inhale those hands up to the sky. Let's find ourselves bringing our hands back to the side of the mat as we help ourselves over to rotate that leg behind. Let's keep our knees as wide as the mat here. Do one last sequence of a wide cat-cow, keeping your hands as wide as the mat as well. Inhale and dropping the waist, arching the back. Exhale, rolling our pelvis. Just waking up that spine in a different, more fluid way here as we come into the end of our flow. 3 more. Inhale. Letting that energy we just powered up in the lower body here in the arms run up and down the body. 2 more breaths. After our last inhale, let's exhale, coming to a wide leg tabletop. Let's take 1 more inhale. And exhale as we push ourselves back, coming into a wide leg child's pose. Now you may come into a regular child's pose if you like, using a block. Let's go ahead and exhale, holding this pose here for a few moments, allowing the hips to open just a little bit further, sending the energy of the body working. 4 more breaths. Let's take our last exhale as we inhale ourselves, coming into that wide leg table once more. Let's bring our knees about shoulder width apart here, and our arms, our hip width apart, and our arms about shoulder width apart. Let's exhale that right arm underneath the left, coming into a puppy pose, extending the body out here. Really raking up that body. Let's inhale, bringing that right arm back to the mat here. Exhale, this time left side, threading the needle. Let's inhale. This time coming up to a tabletop. Exhale, dropping that chest, coming into a puppy pose. You can extend the arms out in front of you, or if you'd like, you can place your forehead on the mat, coming into the prayer arms extension here. Just further working the cobwebs out of the upper back, getting any stiffness out. I don't know about you guys, I sleep on my side, so it helps to get the stiffness out of the shoulders. Let's keep holding here for 5 breaths. And after that last exhale, let's release the hands down to the mat if you're in prayer arms. If your arms are extended, let's just find ourselves coming back up into tabletop here. Let's exhale ourselves, coming down into staff pose with our legs just directly out in front of us here. And I'd like to do something a little bit different instead of coming into our standard bridge pose. Let's grab a block or a pillow, or if you have a rolled up blanket, whatever you have. For the pillow or the blanket, you might have to put it horizontally as opposed to vertically. But grab your block and just place it right here up against, or your pillow blanket, right up here against your tailbone. Let's take it, inhale those arms up. We're just going to slowly roll ourselves back over our block, opening up that chest. Dropping the arms into cactus arms. There's kind of a gentle back bend, a mild back bend here. Opening up the chest, allowing the arms to drop. Keep breathing here. We have 5 more breaths. Let's take a last exhale here in this breath, or in this pose. Coming up slightly, you can roll gently to one side or the other. Just go ahead and remove your block or pillow or blanket. And let's find ourselves laying on the mat here, bringing the feet, the soles of the feet to the mat, bending the knees here. Just settle here for a moment, letting our spine kind of relax. Make sure that our lower back is on the mat. Our occipital bone is on the mat as well. The shoulders are down from the ears. Let's inhale that right knee to the chest, turning that leg. Let's place the right ankle on the right knee or the left knee. Holding here for a moment, just gently press the right knee down with your right hand. Hold here for 5 breaths. Arching that right foot as well to get a good opening of our iliopsoas in the front and our piriformis in the back. 3 more breaths. After our last exhale, let's inhale our knee up here to our chest, using our hands palm under palm behind the left knee. Let's exhale, pulling that left knee, arching that left foot as we come into our figure 4 stretch. And after our last exhale, let's extend our left leg down to the mat, keeping the right knee in the chest. Let's straighten that leg out here. Palm over palm behind the right knee. Just exhale, pulling that knee into the chest there. Keep the foot flexed. After our last exhale in this pose, let's bend the knee once more. Using the left hand, let's exhale, twisting the knee over the front of the body here, coming into a lying leg twist. Now we want to make sure we keep our hip on the mat because that way we can definitely stretch what we're trying to in that hip area as opposed to stretching the back of the body. So it's okay if you only stretch it a little bit over. We just want to concentrate on keeping that hip on the mat so that we can stretch out the piriformis there. You know, that part that you open up that feels really good when you stretch your leg, that's the part we're talking about. Remember to keep all of our feet arched here to extend the lengthening in the back of the leg. Let's take one more breath in this pose. And with our exhale, let's gently drop our right knee over to the right side here, opening up the front of the leg. If you have blocks, you may drop your feet to a block. That was serendipitous that I ended up on the block there. But if not, you can always drop your foot to the mat, to the floor of the mat, coming into that reclined tree. Keeping the feet flexed to stay engaged. Keeping the left hip to the mat. We're going to hold this here for 3 more breaths. After our last exhale, let's bring both of our feet now to the mat, coming in that bent knee pose. Let's bring the left knee up, placing the left ankle on the right knee. Let's go ahead and push that left knee down here, beginning the sequence of cool down on the left side. Breathing here 5 breaths. All right, after our last exhale, let's inhale that right knee up, flexing the right foot, palm over palm behind the right knee, flexing the left foot. Let's come into that piriformis stretch, holding here for 5 breaths as we pull the right knee to the chest, keeping the left ankle on the right knee. Figure 4 stretch. Let's exhale, releasing the right leg, sending it straight down to the mat here. Let's bring the left knee to the chest, straightening out that leg, palm over palm behind the left knee. Forward, our extended leg stretch here, flexing the feet, getting the opening there in the hamstrings and the calves as well. Let's exhale, bending that left knee. Using the right palm, let's send it over to the left side. Remember to keep that left hip on the mat here. We just want to stretch out what's going on in our figure 4, a region, that piriformis in our hip. After that last exhale, let's open up, this time dropping the left knee to the left side here, coming into that reclined tree, keeping all the feet arched, opening up the hip here. Excellent. Let's release the left leg to meet the right. Let's send ourselves up once more. Exhaling, bringing our feet coming into happy baby as we grab our feet, sending our knees to our armpits. Let's just hold here for a moment, breathing into this pose. You can go ahead and move your legs around as you like. I like to use this one last pose as a hip opener just before we hit into the Shavasana. Just another way to kind of release any unwanted, stagnant, sleepy energy that may still be stored up in the body there, energizing ourselves to take on the day. Let's take 2 more breaths in this pose. And with an exhale, let's release our legs and arms out, dropping them ever so slightly onto the mat, ever so gingerly, allowing our feet and hands to rest open. Coming into our Shavasana, you can gently flutter your eyes, close if you like, You can cast them downward, rest your hands on your belly or to the side. Let's just rest here in this pose, letting the energy run through our body, settling into the places that need it the most. Maybe thinking a little bit more about our intentions that we set for the day. And before we come out of our Shavasana this morning, I would like to read from you a passage from the Daily Stoic. This month's topic is on unbiased thought. Today's reading is entitled Deceived and Divided. It reads, circumstances are what deceive us. You must be discerning in them. We embrace evil before good. We desire the opposite of what we once desired. Our prayers are at war with our prayers, our plans with our plans. Seneca. A woman says she wants to meet a nice guy and get married, yet she spends all of her time around jerks. A man says that he wishes he could find a great job, but he hasn't actually bothered to do the looking. Business executives try to pursue two different strategies at the same time. Straddling, it's called. And they are shocked when they see it succeed at neither. All of these people, just as often true for us too, are deceived and divided. One hand is working against the other. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once put, there is something of a civil war going on within all of our lives. A war inside each individual between the good parts of their soul and the bad. The Stoics say that the war is usually a result of our conflicting desires, our screwed up judgments, or biased thoughts. We don't stop and ask, okay, what do I really want? What am I actually after here? If we did, we'd notice the contradictory and inconsistent wishes that we have. And then we'd stop working against ourselves. Well, excellent food for thought. Know about you. With that being said, let's go ahead and invite some movement into the body by wiggling our toes and fingers. Let's find ourselves rolling over to either side, holding our head into the crook of our arm here for just a moment, coming into this wonderful embryonic pose. Let's inhale, eyes closed, bringing ourselves up to seated. As we exhale, holding here for just a moment, eyes closed if it's within the practice. Inhale once more, arms up to the sky. Exhale, bringing ourselves down into prayer pose, fluttering those eyes open, joining me back in class. Well, thank you very much for joining me in class this morning. I hope you feel invigorated and awake, ready to take on the day. If you've had your first cup of coffee, I hope this energy matches it. If you haven't had it yet, I hope you maybe don't need it. If you do, I love drinking coffee myself anyway, so it's always great. I hope to see you here next Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And as always, I like to send you out by saying, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light you wish to see in the world, because every one of us has a little place under the sun. Have a great rest of your day. Sending you out with a peace be with you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Excellent. Have a great Saturday, everybody. Let's carpe diem. Seize the day. Goodbye, everybody. See you.